Bienvenue à l'Accessibility Showcase, un showcase qui évidemment des annonces de jeux et surtout des jeux que tout le monde pourra jouer, dont les personnes en situation de handicap. C'est une conférence extrêmement importante dans ce Summer Game Fest. Donc des nouveaux jeux et surtout des jeux qui pourront être faits par tout le monde avec beaucoup d'options, vous le voyez ici, qui est sous-titré en anglais. Pour info, il n'y a pas de sous-titres en français malheureusement. Mais c'est cool, je trouve ça cool qu'ils fassent ce genre de conférence.
And to help you focus on the hyperkinetic on-screen action, there are modifiers to allow you to blur, desaturate, or even turn off
Merci
the
de ton sub,
background
Eric.
entirely.
Merci beaucoup.
There are also options for adjusting the amount of screen shake you experience to help with this even further. LC is an incredibly colourful game, so it has options to assist those with colour vision deficiency too.
Et l'accessibilité peut passer par énormément d'éléments. Ce n'est pas que évidemment des manettes, ce n'est pas que pour les yeux, ça peut être effectivement énormément de détails, puisque les handicaps peuvent être divers et variés et peuvent concerner un doigt, une main, la vue, plein de choses. Donc je trouve ça cool qu'il y ait cette conférence aussi, qui mette ça en avant.
Rumble strength and screen shake modifiers, and options to blur, desaturate, or remove backgrounds. LC is a love letter to retro action platformers of old, while packing in plenty of new elements to give the genre a modern twist, and we want as many people as possible to be able to enjoy the experience. Please consider wishlisting the game on Steam today if you like what you see, and stay tuned to the Night Shift and Platonic socials for more info soon.
Ça a l'air pas mal.
Hi everyone, I'm Ria. I am part of a two-person indie game studio based out of India called I Miss My Friends.
Ah oui, c'est vrai que Lucifer, dans le chat, t'as envie de faire un bar de jeux vidéo plus tard, dont la possibilité de pouvoir faire jouer tout le monde. C'est cool que tu y penses aussi. C'est important. C'est important. You video call loved ones and have branching conversations with them in a clear sans-serif font. You work from home as a junior video editor. Here you match snippets to the correct track as per color or icon. This game has no fail state, and no matter how you do, your colleagues will cheer you on and support you. You sort through puzzles to rediscover childhood memories. No time limits or penalties here. Take your time to go through all the sentimental objects Alo has received, whether it's through keyboard, mouse, or the controller. Do care tasks and get to know yourself better one day at a time. Currently, Fishbowl has few options to change the volume of sound effects and music, and also an option to turn off screen shake. We also make sure to have both visual and audio cues for important events. Take your time to notice them as there is no rush to respond. Our demo starts off with a content warning as it addresses and explores themes of grief, loss, loneliness, and isolation. We are a small team and we have a lot more to do before release. We are working on accessibility-specific settings like removing screen sway, turning off text effects and typing, providing a larger font size. Ça c'est cool. En vrai, mine de rien, la taille des textes est souvent ce qui revient en termes d'accessibilité, tu vois. Surtout sur les jeux genre Steam Deck, tu vois, genre mine de rien, l'accessibilité aussi passe par là.
Immerse yourself in the role of Waco, a mysterious gecko embarking on a quest to collect the most powerful mask of his world. Explore diverse landscape, from vibrant villages to
c'est super important les textes affichés à l'écran.
To immerse players in a rich sensory experience with ambient sounds everywhere, like bird songs, flowing water, and echoing footsteps on every surfaces, guiding your exploration. Our maps are thoughtfully designed to ensure clear auditory cues, allowing players to navigate with ease and fully immerse themselves in the world of Waco. Dive into a world full of quests and puzzles, from helping villagers to unraveling ancient mysteries. Our intuitive inventory systems make managing items a breeze, with color-coded references and clear icons, ensuring accessibilities for all players. And with the ability to customize sounds in the main menu, players can tailor the game to their preferences. Prepare for epic battles as you meet formidable enemies throughout your journey. Each mask grants unique abilities, empowering players to adapt their fighting styles and overcome challenges. And with distinct sounds for every enemy, player can rely on auditory cues to anticipate and react to threats, making the game accessible to all. We are committed to making gaming inclusive for everyone. That's why we are doing our best to develop a colorblind-friendly game with carefully chosen color palette that ensure clarity and accessibility for all players. We invite you to embark on a memorable adventure where exploration, puzzles, and epic battles await. Join us and uncover the secrets of the whimsical world of Waco the Mask Gatherer.
My name is Chad Michael Boughton. My pronouns are he, him. I am a blind podcast host, accessibility consultant, professional speaker, and this is why accessibility in gaming is important to me. I will always remember how back in 2019, when Kingdom Hearts 3 had just released, how excited I was to play the game. I had been a longtime fan of the series and was finally ready to experience the end of the trilogy. However, at this point in time, I was unaware of how bad my retinitis pigmentosa had gotten and just how much of my usable vision I really had lost.
Tu vois, c'est ce côté pouvoir faire profiter des jeux vidéo à tout le monde et pas de la même façon. Faire profiter des jeux vidéo à tout le monde d'une façon différente, évidemment, autant que faire se peut. Ce ne sera jamais la même manière de profiter d'un jeu, tu vois. Mais c'est important.
And it was a pretty big thing for me because growing up, video games had been the best way for me to cope with losing my vision and just not being able to control what was going on in my life. I had all intentions to never play a video game again, and for the next 2 years, I kept true to that promise. I thought that I would go the rest of my life without playing another video game. But, you know, in 2021, my brother-in-law, he sent me a text telling me about a game called The Last of Us Part 2 and how I should check it out, which I thought was crazy because I remember being able to play the game, the first game that is, back when I had usable vision. And I was just thinking to myself, there's no way I'm going to be able to play the sequel due to my limited amount of vision. And boy, was I wrong. I could have not been any more wrong. And it was a welcome surprise for myself to boot up the game and realize that my vision wasn't the problem. It was that up until this point, games really just weren't being made to accommodate gamers like myself and so many others. If it wasn't for the work that Brandon Cole and Naughty Dog did on The Last of Us Part 2, I don't think I would ever have gotten back into gaming. And I can only imagine where my life would be right now if I didn't get back into gaming. I owe accessibility in gaming so much.
Hello, my name is Stefan Gagne, my pronouns are he, him, and I'm a physically disabled gamer. I run Fiction Factory Games, and we make character-driven narrative games such as Arcade Spirits The New Challengers, Penny Larceny Gig Economy Supervillain, and our upcoming title, The Shadow over Cyberspace. Today, I'd like to demonstrate some of the accessibility technology that we've built into our games. I'll use our latest game, Penny Larceny, to demonstrate. In this comic book romantic comedy, you play as a criminal underling named Penny, working for various supervillains to help put food on the table. All of our games feature a self-voicing mode. Just tap the V key at any time to activate.
Self-voicing enabled.
In this mode, extra narration is used to describe imagery, and user interfaces are streamlined. Let's demonstrate with this scene where Penny, the woman in the black and white striped shirt and mask, is going out on a date with Farsight, the superheroine in the colorful but practical costume.
Farsight, I'm so glad we're finally able to talk outside of our day jobs. It's nice to get away from all that mask and cape stuff. Penny, absolutely. What's a good first date question?
The beeping sound lets players know that it's time to make a choice. Alright, let's see, what do we pick here?
What are her hobbies? Sewing, stamp collecting, virtual pet raising? Would she rather fight one horse-sized duck, or 100 duck-sized horses? Penny, I'd like to ask you an important question, one scholars and philosophers have wrestled with for generations. Penny, one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? Which do you fight? Far sight, oh, horse-sized duck. I actually fought him last week.
For sighted players, we have options to help customize the user interface to their needs. You can adjust fonts used by the game, picking between comic book style, a simplified font for easier readability, and the standard open dyslexia font.
C'est super cool de pouvoir choisir sa police de texte quand même aussi. Ça c'est un truc qu'on voit quasiment jamais pour la police de texte. Mais l'aide audio est cool aussi. Mais la police de texte, c'est quelque chose qu'on voit très peu. Hein. Bah, on voit, en fait, la seule option qui est souvent accessible, c'est comment ça s'appelle, la taille, tu vois, la taille du sous-titre. Mais c'est pas suffisant, évidemment.
Seen here is an example of that, with an angry woman drawn in pixel art on a laptop screen, with a looping video of fire behind her, and an LCD filter on top.
Nyarlathotep, speak your piece or go in pieces. Who are you, and what convinced you that approaching the crawling chaos was a good life decision?
For players with photosensitivity, we've added the ability to disable these effects. You get the same visuals, but they're a static picture and easier on the eyes. The game also makes use of video during sequences where you watch television. We use open captioning to ensure everyone can enjoy this part of the game, and when using self-voicing mode, additional visual narration is added.
Static gives way to the TV23 logo, WYGH-TV, Arkham, Innsmouth, Dunwich. A TV test pattern plays through static.
Here is a world of communication, tailored for your needs of today and tomorrow, bringing together all people in a new era of understanding.
Two teenagers visit a 1950s World's Fair exhibit on telecommunications.
Moving forward, I'm hoping to ensure all our stories are as accessible as we can make them. Gaming should be for everyone. Thanks for your time, and have a good one.
Hello, I'm Lucy.
Gaming should be for everyone. Le jeu vidéo devrait être pour tout le monde. Exactement. Voilà. Et ça fait du bien de lire ça et d'entendre ça.
As a disabled developer, I wanted to include positive disability representation in the story, but the game itself has many accessibility features that I'd like to share with you today. Videoverse can be controlled using mouse, keyboard, touchscreen, or controller. There are no button combos, no quick responses required, no strobe effects, and the game is generally low pressure. Navigation is also large and clear, with audio cues upon selection. Videoverse is made in RenPy, the visual novel engine, which already includes several accessibility features. There's self-voicing and separate volume bars for sound, music, and voice. The default font can be switched for a clear, easy-to-read font, and all fonts are large and high contrast. If you miss a thought or conversation, you can check the log to see what you may have missed. And when it comes time to saving, you can manually save at any point or use the autosave feature. Though there are some additional features too. There is a typing noise during chat conversations, which can be turned off in the preferences menu. Closed captions are also available, but audio is not required to play Videoverse. And since Videoverse covers heavy topics, such as depression, abuse, and neglect, there is also a content warning list that can be accessed. The default Videoverse theme is black and white, clear and high contrast. But there are many different colour themes, some of which are colourblind friendly, and these can be changed at any time. And on the pause menu, there is a tip button in the top left corner. Use this to get a hint if you ever feel stuck. If there's a feature missing that you'd like to see, please send me an email at contact@gamesbykimoku.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the old school experience of Videoverse.
Hello everyone, I am Sightless Combat. First off, thank you so much to the organisers for inviting me back here. it's amazing to be a part of this event once again. Just by way of a self-description, I'm wearing an RNIB Design for Every Gamer shirt and a cap with my logo on it, which is two swords crossed over an eye, as well as over-ear headphones. And in the background behind me, you can see numerous items of gaming memorabilia, including what has lovingly been termed as a pop waffle, a display holding various pop vinyl figures from various franchises that I've accumulated, as well as a gold lancer from Gears of War 4, the replica of that iconic weapon. So, for those who don't know me, I am an award-winning, multi-credited accessibility consultant and content creator from the UK, as well as being the Accessible Gaming Officer for RNIB, that is Royal
J'aime
National
beaucoup son mur de
Institute of
pop,
Blind People,
je le trouve super
the
stylé.
UK-based sight loss charity.
Et alors ne parlons pas de son arme évidemment de Gears of War derrière, qui est incroyable.
Having never had any sights whatsoever. Now,
Je le trouve vachement stylé en fait. Je sais que j'ai... Ah, bah, plus ma caméra, bah, tant pis. Les pop, la façon dont c'est mis là, son étagère, elle est incroyable en arc de cercle. Là.
And one that, from what I've heard, a fair number of people are interested in. City builders. Enter Cellular City, a puzzle game about building, well, tiny cities. When I first heard about this game, it sounded really intriguing to me, not just because of the wonderfully alliterative name, and the developer is keen to make this as accessible as
Ouais, son arrière-plan est stylé.
So I would highly recommend giving this a look if you're even remotely interested in something new, and in my case...
Ouais, ça c'est une espèce de gaufre, son truc pour mettre ses pop, c'est vrai. C'est ça.
Because here is a little trailer to show you just what this game is all about, as well as, of course, its accessibility features. Here is Cellular City from developer Callum Deary.
This is Cellular City, a puzzle game about building tiny cities. Cellular City's primary mechanic is rules around neighbouring buildings. For example, you can't have a steel foundry next to a block of flats.
A 3 is a flats. B3 is empty. B2 is empty. Foundry placed in B2.
On the other hand, some buildings like each other, like stations and flats.
C2 is a station. B2 is empty. Flats placed
Putain,
in
par
B2.
contre, je trouve ça incroyable.
It has text-to-speech and
alors là, l'accessibilité pour le coup, c'est stylé.
On accessibility for blind and low vision players.
C'est amusant parce que le LED audio me fait penser un peu à une aide pour les échecs, tu sais, genre Rennes en B2. Tu vois? L'audio description est bien fichu. Hein.
Describing city. A 1 is empty, B1 is a rail, C1 is a rail, a 2 is a hill, B2 is a mine, C2 is a station, a 3 is empty, B3 is empty, C3 is a rail.
The player's movement around the level.
A 2 is a hill.
It's also described, as are their actions on placing buildings.
A 3 is empty. Flats placed in a 3.
Ah, je trouve ça trop bien.
The player can
enfin,
also
en vrai,
inspections of buildings to find out more about them.
A flats brutalist streets in the sky. Always controversial with neighbors near and far.
So if you're
T'as le taf qu'il y a derrière, c'est monstrueux en fait. Hein. Parce que tu te dis, ok, visuellement, il n'y a pas l'air d'avoir grand chose à l'écran, mais alors le travail derrière le doublage audio de LED est fou.
Before a powerful magician brings big changes to the world around you. Upheaval is turn-based, with no timed actions and no complex controls. All text is big, easy to read, and high contrast.
Ah non, mais c'est monstrueux les Z.
Turn to dark mode or both. Upheaval is completely blind playable without sighted assistance. You can use your favorite screen reader in the command line version.
Abandoned tower, armory, 26 days left, early night, 5/6. The muffled sound of a nightbird can be heard outside. 1. Go up the stairs, no time. 2. Go down the stairs, no time. 3. Open the chest, no time. 4. Search this area, 1 time, random, time searched, 0. 5. Make camp, 2 time.
or the customizable text-to-speech in the graphical version.
You're in abandoned tower, top floor. You're on the top floor of the tower. Stairs lead down to the floor below.
Ouais, par contre.
All directions over the prairies.
Wow.
The stone wall
Calme.
is around you. Press tab to highlight an option. Go down the stairs, no time. Look out over the prairies, 1 time. Search this area, 1 time. Success is random. Make camp, 2 time. This is the last option.
Volume levels can be adjusted separately for music, sound effects, ambient sound, and text-to-speech. Keyboard and controller inputs are both supported, and control remapping will be added before release. Difficulty levels can be adjusted either before or during each game. You can grant more in-game time, conjure items, teleport, use the rewind button planned before release, or any combination of these. You can try the free demo of Upheaval on Steam today. Wishlist Upheaval on Steam to support this project. If you have any questions about accessibility, please reach out using my contact info at upheavalgame.com.
Hi everyone, it's your host Laura here again. I want to take some time today to talk about a game that we wanted to include in this year's Accessibility Summer Showcase, and timings just did not work out for putting together a formal trailer to showcase this game, but I still really think that this game is doing some interesting stuff and I think it is worth talking about, so I'm going to put together a little tease just to try and tell you a little bit about a game that I wish we could have included more formally here today. Periphery Synthetic is a chill, relaxed, non-violent Metroidvania that takes place in first person and is particularly notable for being designed to
un Metroidvania à la première personne. Wow.
To be able to be played purely with audio cues.
Alors là pour le coup.
You play as someone who has been tasked with surveying a planetary system in an upgradable exosuit, and are able to explore by following all
oui, tu peux le faire entièrement au son.
Audio cues that are built into
c'est incroyable.
the soundscape of the game to collect materials that will allow you to craft and upgrade your movement abilities, while doing this sort of non-linear exploration of a planet.
Ça a l'air d'être incroyable quand même. Je note ça aussi.
It is a really unique game, trying some very interesting stuff in terms of how it presents its exploration cues. There is a demo available to play on itch.io if you search for Periphery Synthetic EP. The full game will be coming to Steam in summer of 2024. You can find a link to it on the Steam sale page this year that we have for all of the games included in the Accessibility Summer Showcase. I know that the developer of this game was real frustrated to not be able to have a trailer ready in time for our submission deadline, and I really wanted to still be able to include them.
Ça, ils disent qu'il n'y avait pas le temps de faire un trailer, mais qu'ils voulaient absolument montrer quelque chose. Après, c'est un peu compliqué de comprendre exactement le jeu comme ça, je pense, c'est un peu dommage. Parce que là, pour le coup, c'est un peu compliqué d'arriver à comprendre tout ce que le jeu a à offrir.
You can then spend your savings to upgrade your shop, buy new and better tools to unlock more activities, and even expand your business to exciting new districts across town. Trash Goblin has always been intentionally designed to be enjoyed by as many people as possible. There are no fail states or time pressures, no skill gates to content, and no fast action. It's played in first person with a limited set of views, and no need to rush anywhere. This gentle pace is at the core of what it means to be a true goblin. We're doing everything we can to help players of all kinds enjoy the tactile, scrunchy, and satisfying mechanics we've built. That effort starts with us listening to our community. You asked us to add an option to allow players to sponge trinkets clean without holding a button down, so we did. And you asked for optional auto-chisel features for the chipping gameplay, so we implemented them. Thanks so much to our community for helping us make the game more accessible for everyone. Though a range of ongoing work we've undertaken to ensure you're able to enjoy Trash Goblin to the fullest. The mouse is used for every interaction, with optional keyboard shortcuts for navigation, and we're implementing controller support too. Tutorials use button glyphs for clarity. And the game's default font uses a clean and readable sans serif typeface with user-defined sizing. During conversations, the player can skip the text's appearance, and a button press confirms they've read everything. And there are a selection of audio and volume settings to take advantage of, plus text speed settings and more. But of course we want to do even more, so please consider wishlisting the game on Steam, and play the demo there now. Then come and talk to us in our Discord, and suggest even more improvements we can make. Trash Goblin. What kind of goblin do you want to be?
Hi everyone, my name is Revia and I'm a disabled and chronically ill content creator from Norway and also a co-host of the podcast Control Alt Access together with Laura. I'm a white woman in my 30s with dark red hair, wearing a yellow flowy shirt sitting in my game room. Last year, Whitethorn Games brought us Botany Manor, a game where you play as Arabella, retired botanist living in the 19th century England. In this game, you're working toward finishing a botanical research book, Forgotten Flora, by growing fascinating plants, looking for mysterious clues and solving cozy puzzles. But not only is this game a wonderful little adventure, it's also accessible for me. From the focus on cognitive accessibility through good information in the options, a well-made journal system, and a bunch of ways to reduce motion sickness, all the way to more motor accessibility with toggle to run and zoom. This game feels like it was made for me. So this is why I'm so happy to see that Whitethorn Games are back this year, and I can't wait to see what they have to show us all.
Are you ready to jump into action as a cute slime? Slime Heroes has you covered. In this adorable Souls-like 3D action-adventure game, you have a myriad of options available to make the experience more accessible. Enemies and bosses have different damage scales, allowing you to up the challenge or cushion the blows. You can also slow the enemy's attack speed, or increase your own stamina recharge. You can extensively change your cursor for better contrast and visibility based on your preferences. There is also the ability to toggle on double jump for more control and distance in platforming sections. Timed puzzles can also be made longer so that you can have more time than you normally would to complete sections. You can outline your slime with either black or white to contrast the many colorful environments of the game for improved visibility. Enable visible hitboxes to allow you to see the exact movement of an attack or enemy, enabling you to be sure all of your attacks land as you eliminate even the most challenging corrupted enemies. This is just a sample of the things to come from Slime Heroes. In Magical Delicacy, you play as Flora, a young witch who's just moved to the harbor town of Grot to grow her magical abilities. In the game, you make new friends, discover new places, find the secrets, cook all sorts of delightful foods, and get entangled in an enchanting story. To help Flora traverse the city, there's an easy platforming option that disables disappearing platforms that would otherwise require precise timing or quick movements during puzzle or platforming areas. To improve visibility, there are also several high contrast options. You can highlight Flora's outline so she'll always stand out against her background.
Absolument, l'idée de la conférence n'est pas d'abord les jeux, mais d'abord l'accessibilité pour l'ensemble des gens et ensuite les jeux. Absolument. Je pense que c'est important de montrer que peu importe le jeu, si le développeur y pense, on peut mettre les options d'accessibilité nécessaires. Peu importe le jeu, peu importe la manière dont le jeu est fait, que ce soit un FPS, un TPS, un jeu de stratégie, toutes les options peuvent être mises à partir du moment où tu te donnes les moyens et le temps et l'argent aussi, parce que ça demande beaucoup d'argent aussi de faire ça, de le faire. Mais c'est important de noter que ça demande énormément de budget aussi de faire ça. Hein. C'est important.
I'm a woman with blue hair just past shoulder length, in a light pink t-shirt and wearing glasses. Making your games more accessible is a great goal to have, but sometimes it can feel daunting as an indie dev. To help you get started, I've got a starter kit of some features you can include to help you reach your goals. One of the easiest ways to get started is to take a look at developer tools or options. A lot of times they can be great accessibility options, Commands that reset the player or give the player increased health or stamina, or more time to defeat a puzzle are all great ways to accommodate players who have reduced reaction time. By looking at the way you use your tools to test the game yourself, you can come up with surprising ways to help your players. Keep contrast in mind. This may sound rather simple, but checking how contrastive the player's view is may make the difference in making the game playable for someone with low.
Vous savez que c'est une des premières questions que je pose maintenant quand je fais une interview avec des devs et que j'ai la chance de pouvoir tester des jeux en avant-première et avoir les développeurs sous la main. Je leur demande toujours quelles sont les options d'accessibilité que vous avez mis dans le jeu. Souvent, on me parle des couleurs ou on me parle de la taille du texte, mais rarement autant d'éléments. Et il y a un truc à mettre en avant aussi qui a été mis en place par Xbox pour qu'un jeu maintenant soit dans le Xbox Game Pass. Il y a un minimum d'options d'accessibilité qui sont demandées par Xbox. C'est dans le cahier des charges et je trouve ça très très bien. Alors après, les options d'accessibilité, vous le voyez avec ce genre de jeu, peuvent être vraiment multiples. Mais c'est important qu'il y en ait au moins les couleurs et la taille du texte. Au moins. Il y a des handicaps qui sont plus fréquents que d'autres. C'est bizarre de parler de fréquence, mais voilà, la déficience visuelle, c'est quelque chose qui est extrêmement répandu. C'est toujours plus compliqué de cibler précisément des handicaps qui sont plus rares aussi. Malheureusement, c'est difficile de cibler un champ extrêmement large parce que un handicap peut être rare, un handicap peut être très spécial et très pointu, évidemment, sur une petite chose. Donc c'est très compliqué de pouvoir balayer tout ce champ des possibles. C'est pour ça que quand on voit ce genre de conférence qui en balaye énormément, ça fait du bien. Maintenant, je trouve que ça fait du bien aussi de savoir que Xbox a mis un cahier des charges en place où il y a une nécessité de mettre ça en place pour pouvoir faire rentrer des jeux dans le Game Pass. Et je trouve ça absolument génial. C'est une question que j'avais posée à des développeurs concernant un jeu de parc d'attractions récemment d'ailleurs.
And that started getting difficult about 10 years ago. And this is the time before accessibility was more widely implemented. So I kind of felt like I wasn't going to be able to game again anymore or any longer in the future as well. But now, since accessibility is more widely implemented and there are many more tools that you could use now, I am now able to play more games than I was before my physical difficulty started. So accessibility is something that's quite important to me. And it's really great to see that it's being more widely implemented and more people are starting to learn about it.
Hey everyone, I'm Kevin from Manavoid Entertainment, and today we're going to talk about some of the accessibility features in Rainbow Billy: The Curse of the Leviathan. Let's jump right into it. We've been asked how we made the game accessible for people with color blindness. Luckily, our technical director Alexis is actually colorblind himself, so in a game about recoloring the world of imagination, it was important to get this one right. That's why you'll always see symbols associated with colors.
J'aime bien la DA en plus. Hein. J'aime beaucoup la DA du jeu. Ça me fait penser à la DA des Super Nanas de l'époque. Genre vraiment. J'ai l'impression de voir les Super Nanas avec Mojo Jojo. Là. Bonjour à ceux qui débarquent sur la conférence. Vraiment, c'est la direction artistique Cartoon Network, tu vois. Ah, les Super Nanas, c'était incroyable à l'époque. C'était trop bien les Super Nanas, mine de rien. Regarde, il y a même Mojo Jojo là. Il est là, je l'ai vu, il était là.
This is a conscious decision to avoid the pressure of being put on the spot or failing tasks because you didn't react in time. So you can try again as many times as you want. It was important to us that the level of difficulty in confrontations wouldn't affect the experience.
J'ai hâte de le tester celui-là, ça m'intéresse bien. Le gameplay me plaît bien.
Lowering the difficulty doesn't change your strategy. It just gives you more leeway for errors by reducing damage.
C'était trop bien, je te soutiens. Mais évidemment que c'était trop bien les Super Nanas. Évidemment.
We've made dialogue fun to read with a lot of animations and effects. However, we know this can make the text harder to read for some people.
Ah, voilà.
So, we've implemented the Open Dyslexic font, a
Comment ça marche?
dyslexia-friendly option to make it easier to read.
Ah, ok.
You can also change the speed at which dialogue is displayed.
Ah, c'est pas mal ça. Ah, c'est pas mal le côté mettre en avant des mots précis. Wow. Ah ouais, par contre. Wow. Ok.
Rainbow Billy the Curse of the Leviathan
Ça me plaît
has
bien.
so much more to offer. If you'd like to give it a try, head over to our Steam page and get ready to recolor the world.
Ce jeu-là, on le fera.
Have a great day.
On le fera. Obligé. Et il sort sur Switch aussi. De toute façon, ça sort partout maintenant. La majeure partie des jeux sortent partout, et puis avec l'arrivée de la Switch 2, ça va être encore plus sur la Switch en même temps que toutes les autres plateformes.
Hi everyone, quick update here from Laura. The folks behind Rainbow Billy, The Curse of the Leviathan, have actually given us some Steam codes for the game to
ils ont donné des codes, incroyable.
Today's Accessibility Summer Showcase.
Trop mignon.
If you would like to be entered into a random draw to win one of 5 copies of Rainbow Billy, The Curse of the Leviathan,
donc il y a 5 copies à gagner.
You can head over to @wearemanovoid on Twitter and
vous pouvez retrouver Manavoid sur Twitter pour essayer de participer au tirage au sort. Il y a 5 codes à gagner pour le jeu.
By responding to the tweet up on Manavoid's Twitter. You can enter between now and Sunday, June 9th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, so you have about 2 days to respond to their tweet to get put in for a random drawing to maybe win a copy of Rainbow Billy, The Curse of the Leviathan. Enjoy, fingers crossed that you win. Let's get back to more games.
Welcome to Spaceboat, a narrative adventure filled with colorful worlds and wacky characters. Play as Inspector Domino, an undercover space cat detective, and track down an intergalactic jewel thief. Hi, my name is Luis Alonso, and I'm the game developer for Spaceboat. Since Spaceboat is a narrative adventure that is meant to be enjoyed by all, it was important to give it as many accessibility options as possible. What most people don't know is that I'm also a triple amputee, and one of the few disabled solo game devs that are out there, so I take accessibility seriously. Last year, we mentioned the work that was done to have a high contrast art direction for people with colorblindness, as well as having text for everything that was spoken or heard for people with hearing impairments. This year, we added a number of additional features. Spaceboat now has an options menu accessible at all times from within seconds of starting the game. We recently added single stick controls to reduce the need for multiple inputs.
Je suis vachement intrigué par le jeu dont on n'a pas vu de bande-annonce, mais on a vu cette espèce de monde généré procéduralement, rouge avec des petits cubes orange là, où il va y avoir du craft et des machins. Je suis assez... C'est celui que je retiens parce que j'arrive pas à savoir ce que c'est, et ça avait l'air d'être assez original. Et c'est celui qui m'intrigue, qui m'intéresse le plus, mine de rien.
We know it's not a well-loved feature, but if it helps someone in the slightest, it's there.
J'ai hâte de voir.
We also added the ability to switch controls on demand. This means that if you're playing with a mouse and keyboard, you can switch to an Xbox controller at any time. As a person with a physical disability, I know it's handy to have as many inputs available to adjust to gameplay changes. Please note that these features are currently available in our demo, which can be found on Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam. If you think that Spaceboat could benefit from further improvement, please contact us at contact@recombobulator.ca. Thank you from everyone at Recombobulator Games.
We at Paint Bucket Games believe that everyone should have the opportunity to enjoy the games we create, regardless of ability. We are currently developing The Darkest Files, a historical investigation and courtroom game based on true crimes. We want our games to be inclusive and welcoming to all players, which is why we've implemented several accessibility features. For one, players can choose their own difficulty and even customize it further to match their needs. The Darkest Files also features mouse-only gameplay. This allows players to play the game just by clicking with one hand, making it accessible to those who use adaptive controllers as well. In addition to mouse-only gameplay, we've also made it easy for players to switch seamlessly between input devices, such as keyboard, mouse, or controller. Of course, their sensitivity can be adjusted as well. Since players work with documents while investigating, we are also very mindful of the readability of our fonts and texts and always offer a transcription. For dialogues, there are real-time subtitles available. While developing, we are in contact with testers with impairments and want to continue to learn about accessibility.
Hi everyone, Laura here again. Thank you so much for tuning into this year's Accessibility Summer Showcase. As a reminder, we have a Steam sale page for this year's Summer Showcase, so you can find most of this year's games all in one place on Steam if any of them caught your interest. We've got one final trailer for you before we wrap up, but before that, I want to make a quick announcement. The Accessibility Summer Showcase is a bit of a passion project for me, and it's something that I find a lot of joy in producing. As such, I'd like to try expanding it just a little. In December of 2024, I'm going to attempt to publish the Accessibility Winter Showcase. It'll be just like the Summer Showcase, just happening at the other end of the year. The hope is that we can provide a spotlight for accessible video games whose announcement windows might not line up well with our usual summer event. If you're a developer who would be interested in featuring in the Accessibility Winter Showcase, email laurakbuzzofficial@gmail.com and we can discuss specifics. More official information will be made available in the coming weeks. There's no guarantee that the Accessibility Winter Showcase will return in future years, but I'd like to give it a go and see if it's something that I can publish sustainably. Thank you all again for watching. Please enjoy our last trailer and I hope you have an accessible day.
Remarque qu'après on a d'autres conférences ce soir.
Hey everyone, I'm Darren, the developer of DON'tFolk, a miniature survival city builder about bringing light back to the world. I designed DON'tFolk to be the perfect entryway into the city builder strategy game genre. It's a simple game without complex menus to navigate or endless tutorials. A unique element of DON'tFolk is that you can collect resources by playing small.
On n'a pas une conférence à 19h aujourd'hui.
One day, a player contacted me and told me he could not enjoy the game.
Attendez, il me semblait qu'on en avait une à 19h aujourd'hui.
Required too much button mashing.
Ah non, c'est 23h celle d'après. Ah, je pensais qu'il y en avait une au milieu. Ah, c'est 23h pour le Summer Game Fest après. Ok. J'étais persuadé qu'on en avait une. Ça, j'aime bien ça. Ça me plaît bien ça. Bon, ça, vous me connaissez, c'est typiquement le genre de jeu que j'aime bien en plus. Hein.
Unlike most strategy games, DON'tFolk is completely playable with any controller.
Cool.
You can also activate haptic feedback.
Oh, c'est trop bien, on peut y jouer avec n'importe quoi, c'est génial.
DON'tFolk is also a narrative game.
Ça m'intéresse bien.
The text is big, but you can change that 8-bit pixel font to a more readable one.
Le Summer Game Fest a toujours été dans ces horaires-là, 23h. C'est l'heure américaine, c'est les Américains. Donc, et encore, 23h pour nous, tu vois.
And everything is big enough to make
non,
sure you can easily read it.
Le Summer Game Fest est toujours.
The game uses signs, shapes, and high contrast
normal,
colors.
Les
so
States.
You can play it whatever type of color blindness you might have. You can also activate a narrator that's gonna read everything for you.
Meadow, forest, plain, tents, wheat field. Awesome, the wheat field produces food every day.
There are tons of audio cues, but you can also perfectly play the game without any sound. DON'tFolk plays in real time. However, no worries, you can pause time whenever you want. The game can be played with different levels of difficulty, and you can save anytime, so don't worry about making a mistake. If you're stuck, Lure will always come back to you with some advice. There's no jump scares in the game, but you do have a few screen shakes and flashes that you can disable. The game is still in development, and I'll be sure to add more accessibility features in the future. Play the demo on Steam, and let me know what you think. Have fun!
If you're watching on Twitch, stay tuned for a live stream showcasing demos for Fishbowl, DON'tFolk, Magical Delicacy, Cellular City, Periphery Synthetic, and Trash Goblin.
Eh bien écoutez, c'était une petite conférence très sympathique qui mettait en avant évidemment ce qui est très important, c'est-à-dire que le jeu vidéo doit être pour tout le monde d'une manière ou d'une autre. Dire il faut que tous les joueurs puissent jouer pareil, c'est pas possible. On le sait, à l'heure actuelle, tous les joueurs ne peuvent pas jouer de la même manière. Le mieux, c'est de s'en rapprocher le plus possible et d'offrir la possibilité aux joueurs, effectivement, d'en profiter, comme tout le monde, de profiter de cet univers du jeu vidéo qui est infini, finalement. Donc, eh bien, j'espère que vous avez kiffé cette deuxième petite conférence du Summer Game Fest. Je vous donne rendez-vous ce soir à 23h pour ceux qui regardent cette rediffusion. Sur Twitch, ne bougez pas, puisqu'on va continuer un petit peu. Mais en tout cas, j'espère que cette petite conférence vous a plu et on se retrouve évidemment ce soir à 23h sur Twitch pour la grosse conférence du Summer Game Fest.